Hi, welcome back to the Spirit's Path. This is Dee, and today's tarot card of the day out of the Wildwood Tarot deck is the Five of Arrows and Frustration. And I'm a little bit behind on readings by at least a day, and I'm very frustrated with it, but I wouldn't have been able to communicate with you yesterday due to the fact that I didn't have a voice. So, I waited till I got my voice back, and now I can go ahead and, deliver the message. So, life can get very frustrating sometimes, and, the one thing that I realize over time is, you can't control everything. You have to take a little bit of break. I have to monitor my health when I'm doing, things like that. So, and, it was fitting with this card because it was very frustrating. There were some other incidents that came up in real life, and it's frustrating. And I get it. So, I live this path with you. Okay, and there may be some frustration going on your path, your spiritual path, but you know what? It sucks when you can't hit the target. And one of the things that that was reminded to me is as this goat is coming at you, the archer's already flung 4 of those arrows out at the goat and has missed his mark, and he's got the 5th one notched. Now, when I think about archers and I think about hunters and going about, things, you need to have that calm, steady, relaxed breathing to hit your mark. And this guy, he's already shot 4 arrows. All right, so he's flustered. Okay, life can get flustered like that with us as well. Okay, and what does that do? It leads to unfocused energy. And that unfocused energy just brings us down in our spiritual energy. All right. And then, that leads, when we can't do the things we want to do on our spiritual path, that's one of those challenges or obstacles to see how you respond and to see how you move forward. Okay. I couldn't respond back last night because my voice was bad. But at the same time, I knew that if I took care of my health, and I did some things and I didn't talk too much, then I can move on, right? So even though things are frustrating on your spiritual path and you've met this little challenge or this little blip, this little obstacle in your on your journey, it doesn't mean that you have to get angry about it or frustrated, okay, and just let that lead to wasting energy. I remember a colleague of mine before, when we were talking about frustration, and they said, you know what? I don't choose that attitude. I choose joy, right? So you have a choice here. When this card is out and it's shooting the arrows, and you're shooting the arrows at stuff, you may not hit your mark, but at the same time, it's like maybe it's not meant for you to hit that mark right now. Okay, maybe that's a test. Okay, maybe it's just what? Let's not get into that mental energy of frustration and just turn it into joy, that 3 of Cups, okay? Now, the card that just fell off was the Queen of Bows. Let's see if I can get it back out here. And she's got that creative energy and everything that's out there. And, right now on that journey, we're looking at, we've got everything, all the elements written down there right now, with this being the first air card coming up. So even though the Queen of Bows is dropped off and, she's giving you that nurturing energy, this 5 of Arrows, is showing up and just saying, you know what? We need to be more in control of what's going on. We need to be more disciplined in our spiritual path, by remaining emotionally focused, not getting frustrated, not getting angry, because, sometimes things are out of your control. You can't control what you can't control, right? And don't even try because it's not even worth it, okay? Focus on what you can achieve on your goal or desire. Maybe it's not going fast enough, okay? We've had this little plateau here, and, you still got the protection from the Great Bear watching over you. The Woodward's still watching over you as you're walking through, as well as the Green Man. And really you got 2 Green Men because you're healing as well. So, with this that's going on, maybe that's what this card is telling you is life can get frustrated. But if we emotionally heal ourselves, okay, and focus on our achievement, our goal or desire, we'll be able to see clearly on what's going on. Okay, you'll be able to see your path a little bit more clear. You'll be able to see that journey, in your mind's eye as you're walking down that path. And I remember the last time this come up. Again, it's that I choose joy, so I'm not going to let that frustration get to me, because I'm going to learn from that journey. I'm going to move forward on that journey. I'm not going to let it hold me back. So in order to see clearly with what's going on, you need to have more of that inner focus, okay? That inner strength of what the Woodward was talking about, right? Doing a little meditation, like the green man here in the healing card. Taking that time out to refresh yourself in an Ace of Vessels. And the Page of Bows is still down here, and he's saying, how are you going to engage with that? Take that step back. Understand where it is you want to go on your journey, all right? And say, okay, this is what I need to do. Start focusing clearly on where you want to go and what you want to do. Breathe a little bit. Don't get all frustrated. Don't get all, anxiety, led emotions, and just say, okay, this happened. This is how I'm going to deal with it. And this is how I'm going to move forward. And when you do that, you kind of set that path into motion, because you send it out to the universe. And that's how you clear your mind of it, right? You look at the situation differently, and you focus that energy on the goal, to resolve the challenges that are ahead of you. All right? When you refocus on that target and you steady your aim, okay, with that last arrow, you're going to end up hitting the target that you need. So, do so with, with that steady hand, that calm breathing, and just go ahead and hit that mark. So that's today's card of the day out of the Wildwood Tarot deck. Hit that like button for me, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, and share it with others. And this is D for A Spirit's Path. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Take care, God bless, and stay safe, everybody.